There are years that slow us down to turn inward. There are years that confront us with power. Who has it? How is it used? And how it harms us. And there are years that force endings that we never planned for. And then there are years that say, now move. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Melanie Santos. And in this video, we're going to talk about the energy of 2026 and then the energy of the first month of 2026, of January 2026, and how we can apply it, view it, move with it practically, personally, and collectively. If this is your first time here, again, my name is Melanie Santos. I am a multidisciplinary sacred artist who basically creates a lot of art in many different ways about the human experience, mind, body, spirit, and energy. And here are the sirens, because we are I am in New York City. And when we hear sirens in this video, in these types of videos, I always say they're confirmation, but I'm not saying anything that needs to be confirmed right now. So maybe it's just confirming that I've been doing this for a very long time. These videos in particular were part of a benefit that I used to offer, a membership community that I held for 5 years. And now I am graciously offering them to the internet every single month. So I hope I see you here at the top of next month. But again, in this video, we're going to get into 2026. What is it? What's the energy of 2026? How can we accept the gifts and opportunities and even challenges that it has to offer us so that we can grow, so that we can access more pleasure, so that we can access and embody more of who we really are, both personally and collectively as a people? Now let's get into a little numerology, because like astrology, numerology is an ancient technology that helps us understand, or sort of understand, the tone of a year and helps us understand how to move through it with intention. Like I said in the intro, 2023 was a 7-year that sort of forced upon us sitting down, introspection, understanding and working with our intuition, our spirituality, sort of being with ourselves so we can start to understand ourselves on a deeper level. Many experienced these bursts of clarity through disruption, like many of us, like we all did collectively. Then 2024 was an 8-year, and of course you have to add up all the digits 2 plus 2 plus 4, which would eventually equal 8. Same with every single year. But 2024 was an 8-year that everybody said was the year of abundance, and I very clearly said, you can backtrack on this on all my social media posts, but I said 2024 would be a year not just of receiving riches, but of really acknowledging what is it that keeps us both from personal and collective abundance. Really understanding power, who holds it, how is it held, how does it harm us? What does prosperity really mean? What does it really mean to us both personally and collectively? And how do we need to sort of re-envision prosperity and abundance for ourselves? And again, we experienced many collective disruptions as a people that helped us sort of ask ourselves these questions. Was everybody asking themselves these questions? Probably not, obviously. But not everybody is in the flow and the intuitive flow of what's happening and what opportunities each year offers us, which is why I do these videos. And then 2025, a 9-year, the year of ending, of personal and collective endings, a year that really forced us to reckon with what no longer needs to be a part of our lives, of our stories, of our narratives, which should have never been a part of our narratives, but what was, and how we needed to really acknowledge how it served us. If it was a part of your narrative and of your story, of your upbringing up thus to that point, how did it serve you? How did it an expansion upon you, and how you sort of needed to surrender, to sort of let it go so that you could enter 2026. If we add up all the numbers of 2026, 2026 is a 1 universal year. 1 is a number of new beginnings. 1 is also a number of intention. If anything, 2026 is not a year to sort of contemplate. Obviously we always need to be in a spirit of inquiry and in a spirit of thinking and questioning and question everything, but it really is a year of movement. It really is that year that asks us to move now, do now, create now, make decisions that are clear now. Are we ever going to get to a point that we say, I know exactly who I am and I question nothing. I don't think so. I think it's unnatural to think that the healing process or the human journey will ever bring us to a point where we absolutely, like, I think that's putting us up there with God, or right, the highest possible power. I don't think it's natural to ever to get to a point like that. However, with each year, we receive opportunities to get clearer on who we need to be embodied as, right? Who are we here to be? Not just for ourselves, but for, because we're always bouncing energies off of each other. We're creating things and saying things and moving things and being a part of life in a way that affects everybody's life around us. And so 2026 is a year that clearly asks you to be the author. It really brings us back into the art of living. And what does that mean for you to be the artist of your life? What does that mean for you to take authorship of your life? What does it mean for you to be the authority of your life? But one is also a, and so it's like, yes, taking authorship of your life and being direct and being clear and just going for it, but not necessarily knowing 100% or being needing to be 100% safe with your decisions before you make them. This is a year that is about action rooted in awareness, not certainty. Again, 2026 is a year that is rooted in awareness, not certainty. It is not a year that is rooted in perfection. However, right now we have the nodes, the lunar nodes. The South Node is in Virgo until July. And so we are constantly, for the next 7 months, we'll be working through this energy of like letting go of perfection. And so it's always so amazing when I sit down and do these videos as if I don't already know. But when I'm talking about it and explaining it in the best way that I can, whether you're an expert and know a lot about the planets or energy or anything like this, or you're a novice, it's always so fascinating to me how energy just comes together, how human energy, planetary energy, cosmic energy, how energy just comes just perfect in itself. And it's perfect in itself so that we don't have to be perfect. It's perfect in itself so that it's always conspiring in our favor so that we don't have to feel the pressure of showing up as perfect. That is so satisfying. Moving forward in the lunar calendar, in lunar tradition, in Eastern traditions, we're moving from the energy of the wood snake into the year of the fire horse. Very, very different energies. I was born in the year of the snake, so you're like, oh yeah, I was born in the year of a horse. It doesn't mean this is like gonna be the best year ever. I'm somebody who was like, yeah, 2025 is going to be amazing for me. It's the year of the snake. It's Jupiter in Cancer. As somebody who has like 5 Cancer placements, 2025 broke me down, baby, but broke me down in the best ways, to the point where I'm able to sit in front of you today and really like be excited about being in this year of 2026, this one energy again is this year of initiation, of forward movement. Think about how a horse just gallops. Think about yourself as a stallion, not Megan, but maybe some version of it. A horse year generally supports forward movement, again, not stagnation, not half-assing, and definitely not acting out of integrity. I would say that is the most important, even if you feel a little bit slower. Forward movement has nothing to do with physical movement at all. Maybe it has nothing to do with decisions that are tangible in the world. Maybe it has to change your mind and your perspective. I want to emphasize this because I don't want you to get to the end of 2026 and feel like you've wasted your year. If you're able to go into 2027 with a shift in even just one of your perspectives, even one shift in perspective can change your life and can change the life of so many people. This is an energy that coincides with awakening, not just forward movement. You can't just make movement for the hell of it. You can't just move for the hell of it. You have to, again, moving in integrity. Who am I? Why am I making this move? Why is it important to me? Why could it be important to the collective around me? 2026 is going to reward you, your life, your existence, your embodiment in truth, in integrity, in knowing, again, the why, who, W's, of why you are moving the way that you're moving, not just moving for the hell of it, not moving half-assed, not trucking along life. That's not what this is about at all. I don't want this to get misconstrued as like, yeah, just go, go, go. No. Consider how moving for the hell of it is an outdated structure in itself that should have been left behind in 2025. Consider how moving for the hell of it, how initiating, how just starting things just because we feel the external or even internal pressure. And if we feel that external, because I promise you your higher self is not pushing you to make any decisions for the hell of it, is an outdated paradigm maybe you need to move away from. So a lot of this movement will be mental and internal. And I would go as far as to say with yourself about what 2026, like this is again what it is for the collective, for all of us, how we're all meant to like really move into somewhere different, right? If you want to get really, really granular about what this year means for you, look at your life path number. These are all things that you can calculate online by doing different things. Like your life path number, you add up all the digits of your birthday until you get to a singular number. Get your life path number. Look at your annual perfections. Look at your astrology for the year. Look at human design and how that sort of works with a 2026 year of the fire horse. Because 2026 is truly like, yes, a new beginning, but it truly is, it feels like to me, and now we're talking about what I am receiving from the spirit world, and what I'm receiving energetically is that 2026 is a year of renaissance. It's a year of personal renaissance so that it can be a year of collective renaissance. It is a year of art. Whether you consider yourself an artist or not, I believe you are an artist. I believe we're here to really focus on the art of living. And there's a lot of clashing going on because it's like the artists against the artists and people who have forgotten truly what the art of living is and what it means and how to approach life and live. I think truly that 2026 is going to really drill. Our small decisions matter so much more than, here comes some honking for emphasis, our small consistent decisions, the small consistent decisions and moves that we make every single day amount to something more sustainable than those quick, fast, hard ones. Like sometimes we're just like, I need to make change because it needs to be visible on the outside, and that's going to prove to me and to the world that I matter, that my life matters. When it's really, that's just feeding the ego. It's the small, consistent actions, creating something really new and sustainable for yourself, and really maybe even not something new, but really deepens your. I truly think 2026 will be a year that drills into us that how we live matters a lot more than, or not maybe matters a lot more, but goes hand in hand with like what we believe. Here finally gets to live out here because of our consistency and our tenacity and our bravery. 2026 is a year of bravery. 2026 is a year of audacity. 2026 is, this is something that I've been grappling with, especially for the last year, of performance. 25 stripped so many of us of our performances and our ability to show up only because we were performing. In 2026 allows us to redefine how we can show up in performance, because I do think there is some role in everything in life. I think that art in itself is performative, and so if we're really considering life as an art form, we sort of get to create a new relationship with like, okay, well, what does it mean to get up and show up? What does it mean to be embodied in the outside world? What does it mean to be embodied when I'm home alone? And how are they the same? And how are those versions of me the same? Or how are they different? How can relating to each help me chip away at who I really am? Lots of delicious questions coming up, but like 2026 to me personally feels really, really good. If you are somebody, and I hate to say this, I really hate when people say this, but it really is true. If you have been living in inquiry, if you have really been paying attention, if you have been being a student of life, if you have been doing the work, this is a year that is going to repay you. This is a year that really is going to reward you. Now, come July 2026, we are shifting the nodal axis, or the nodal axis is shifting. So when it comes to the lunar nodes, there are these 2 points in space where the moon, the energy of the moon, and collide to really create this like 18-month cycle of integration. Here are these sirens for emphasis, because it really has been a time having the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo. Since January of 2025, we have had the North Node in Pisces sort of bringing us into this energy of stepping into compassion and like believing beyond logic and moving beyond logic. Pisces is again this very spiritual sign, and so having the North Node, which is like an energy that brings us up and into, it's really pushed us to collaborate again, to really release ourselves from the illusion of separateness and bring us back together into like a collective consciousness energy. And then having the South Node, which is like a releasing energy in Virgo, which can be over perfectionist, overthinking, helps us release some of that energy, over functioning, over explaining, overworking, over perfectionizing the things that we do, over structuring, so that we can be embodied again. And so now in perfect cycle, we are moving into the South Node in Leo, which can be this like beautiful, brave Leo sign, right? Where we're moving into releasing ego-driven performance, like doing things for external validation, like performing and building your identity and showing up for what you get back versus just being, again, deepening your ability to be embodied. And now since we've been in the North Node in Pisces, where we've like sort of it has helped us release this illusion of separateness, we're moving into the North Node in Aquarius, which is the water bearer, right? We're talking about community. Now we're not just talking about breaking free from the illusion of separateness, but like now that we're back in community, or sort of even considering getting back in community, what are the responsibilities that we hold as a personally and collectively? This is really an energy about building futures together, about not just one hero, but all. Like, how can we all be the hero? If I don't got it, what do you got to share with me? Or if you don't got it, what do I have to share with you? It truly is an energy of like learning how, and I emphasize learning because we're not just gonna like, oh, look, we know how to do this now. No, it really is noticing. It's taking the time to notice in your personal and collective practices how we can be in this energy and how we can let it work through our lives. There's so much more that can be said about 2026, but that's just my little gist on it. I am going to have a blog post all about this written down so you can keep referring to it throughout the year with some like practical tips on how we can approach 2026. There's going to be a link in the description box, but you can also visit melaniesantos.co/blog, I believe is my I don't even know my URL, but I'll leave it on the screen here, and when it is ready you can refer to it throughout the year. I wrote one last year and I kept seeing the stats, how people would refer to it throughout the year, and so I find that to be awesome. So I just want to be as helpful as possible, and so yeah, I'll have that up for you very, very soon. Now let's get into the energy of January 2026 with a card reading. Now, we started off 2026 strong with a full moon in Cancer. I say that as somebody who has 5 Cancer placements, because Cancer can be like, we get a bad rap of being like the crybabies, but we really deal with some tough shit. We deal with family and foundations and like motherhood and how you mother yourself or need to be remothered, and like care and safety. And so starting the year off strong with all of these themes really helped illuminate grief. Like, what is the emotional reality that you're standing on as you've entered 2026? And so some of the questions that you can still be answering even after the full moon throughout this month is like, does my nervous system feel safe? Where does it feel sort of braced, and where does it feel safe? How can I create an environment for myself in my home, in my relationships, in my work, in my practices, in my nourishment that truly helps me come into a place of safety? And what do I need to release for that to happen? What kind of care, like moving forward from knowing that, what kind of care do I actually need to introduce into my life in order for me to sustain that type of safety throughout the year? And then on January 18th, we welcome a full moon in Capricorn. Capricorns are, again, that like forward energy, at least that's the way that I think about it, as, you know, the archetype of Capricorn is the sea goat. It can swim in the water, it can climb the mountain, it's the doer, it's one of the doers of the zodiac. But Capricorn is also ruled by the planet Saturn, which is a planet of integrity and like slow, consistent working. Again, this 2026 is really a Saturnian year if you really think about it. It's a Saturnian and like Mars year. But starting off the year, again, January 18th, with this full moon in Capricorn, full moons are ripe for releasing. And Capricorn is about, again, small, consistent action, stability, legacy. When we talk about legacy, we're not just like talking about going viral once and it's like, ha, I'm rich and famous now. No, it's like, what are you doing that matters to you? And if it matters to you and you're vibrating that embodiment, it's going to matter to people out in the world. And even beyond that, because I'm thinking about social media, because it's like what I'm in, right? But even beyond that, what is sacred to you that you really want to commit yourself to? And what is keeping you from that sacred consistency? What is keeping you from your ability to be consistent with your practice and with your actions so that you can sustain this thing and really build this thing, whatever that may be for you? Capricorn doesn't really care about your intentions, I would say. It cares more about what is your consistent action. I'm raising a Capricorn rising and I'm around a lot of Capricorn risings. My daughter is a Capricorn rising. So I see that to be true. It's not really about like the intention, although intentions are very, very important. It's more so about like, what is the consistent action? Sometimes you'll lose the why. As human beings, we'll lose the why, but if we have something in practice, it'll always bring us back to it. I would say both personally and collectively, this full moon gives us the opportunity to continue working on safety and really examine what is it that exploits your energy, your mental health, your like everything that you need to keep you going, to keep you grounded, and how can you stop participating in it? How can you be consistent with your boundaries? Like if we're talking about like personal and collective liberation, like it really goes somewhere when we as a people stop propping up these systems that live and work and stand on our burnout and our exhaustion and our exploitation. And so how can you do that for yourself every single day? It's a lunation that truly brings us into the year perfectly and asks us to consider, how am I, based on what I know from past years, especially 2025, what have I learned that I need to be really responsible for? What do I want my legacy to be? Even the most minuscule ways. Do I want my legacy to be, not moving my body and not nourishing myself and not drinking water? Or do I want to be remembered, or do I want to remember myself as being somebody who has really been about boundaries? Both the boundaries that keep you internal and with yourself, and the boundaries that keep you away from anything that exploits you, your mental health, your energy, so on and so forth. Do I want my legacy to be always regretting or always overthinking or always like being so much in my perfectionist mind that I never did anything that I actually wanted to do? From watching a movie to this really big thing that I want to create in the world? Or is my legacy just having tried and having gone for it, even if it didn't work? There are lessons in failure. All things that you may already know and may have already heard in the world, but needed to be said. So let's get into the card reading. We're going to start off with the Goddess Guidance Oracle deck by Doreen Virtue. As always, I link all the decks that I use in these videos in the description box for you to use for your personal practice. But Spirit, I want to thank you for calling us all here today. And I want to pull these cards to get a little bit of clarity on what is the energy of January 2026 and how do we need to approach it as a collective. Okay, interesting. We had this card flip over in the deck, and it is the goddess Isis. Past life. Past life. This is really interesting because as I've been talking about, it says this situation involves your past life memories. As I've been talking about like legacy and consistency, a lot of the times we can get stuck in like, okay, again, this is a due year, but we cannot get stuck in like, am I doing this alone? You're not doing this alone. You're not even doing this alone within yourself. You have wisdom within you. I've never done a reading, and I used to do energy readings. 2025 was the year that I allowed the readings to be laid to rest. Is one of the things that I was unexpectedly asked to close. But because of that, I have so much energetic knowledge just like in here. So I'm going to let a lot of it out in these readings, but also possibly start a series or write a book or like do something with it because there's so much that I know. And with that said, I've never done a reading where I have not seen somebody have past wisdom, like past life wisdom, whether they were like a young soul or an old soul. I hate those terms, but whether they were like a young soul, old soul, whatever, everybody has past life wisdom. Everybody has wisdom from the life that they've lived here in this lifetime. Ooh, big ass fly on the window. Flies are a spirit animal of like death and rebirth, and like change is coming. And so I think That this card is coming up first to remind you that you're not alone, to remind you to like stop having this one-sided fight with your wisdom, with the wise version of yourself, because it exists. They exist within you. Let them exist in your decisions. Even when you come to a point of like, oh, I'm coming to this bump in the road on my road to consistency, where like, I really don't want to get up and do this thing. I don't feel like being consistent today. Rely on what would my higher self do? What would my past self do? What would my future self do? I don't talk about it a lot, and I really don't know why, but I built an almost perfect workbook called the Visions Unbound Workbook. I'm going to put a picture of it here, and there's a link in my description box. It is always there. But one of the exercises, one of the many 10 manifestation future year exercises, is to build a letter, to write a letter. It's kind of like Mad Libs, but like write a letter to yourself from your future, based on like all the things that you did and all the decisions that you made that year. That is a great exercise. Even if you don't get the workbook, do it for yourself, even though the workbook is like guided and kind of like helps you fill it out. But like do that with, you know, your future self in mind, and your future self working with your past self. It's just a really beautiful thing to remember, that you really are not doing this alone, that you are guided and supported every step of the way. And like, you've been preparing for this moment right now for 2026 for lifetimes. I really am certain of it. I really am certain of it. I'm going to pick the next card coming from the Work Your Light Oracle deck by Rebecca Campbell, and keep this going. Interesting. We had a card flip over and fall out of the deck, and it is Break the Chain, Ancestral Patterns Healing. Lots of past cards, past life ancestral healing cards, but it is Break the Chain. I noticed the imagery, see if it resonates with you. Break the chain, ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. Ooh, these cards sort of add depth to what I just shared about 2026, I think, because I'm talking about 2026 being this year of like new beginnings and newness, and how our small decisions are like build upon consistency and create our legacy. But it also, as we go forward, our consistency and our legacy and our decisions create energy that goes forward and backwards at the same time. Okay, I don't know how you see life. I'm curious. I'm always curious about how people see life. Some people see life like this. Some people see life like this. I see life like this. Everything that I do is working forward and backward in time, is affecting my past self and is affecting my ancestry at the same time. And so know that every decision that you make has weight. Has weight. You are rewriting the future, and you are also healing the past, or harming the past. Or harming the past. You can be healing and working with, healing and helping your ancestral line, or you can be harming it. Okay? The same way, your ancestral line, their decisions was healing or harming you now in the future. Hello? How much more proof do you need that you really are not doing this just for yourself? That illusion of separateness, again, we're reaching the end of this like North Node in Pisces cycle, where we're going into the North Node in Aquarius. We really don't have time, and you don't want to get left behind. Where like you still think you're doing this alone. You still think you're in this life thing alone. You're not. Both physically, where we're all here in the flesh with you, and also spiritually, and also energetically. Like we're all doing this together. And like everything that you think doesn't matter, from like the clothes that, damn, I just smacked the mic, but the clothes that you wear, the lipstick that you wear, the way that you wear your hair, is both political and is also shifting the trajectory of your life forward and backwards. Every decision that you make has weight. Every decision that you make has weight, from where you shop, to how you look, to how you speak to people, to how you vote, obviously, to every decision that you make has weight. This is not something that is new to this channel, to me, to anything that I do. Every decision that you make has weight. Every decision that you make is both spiritual and political at the same time, is energetically transfer. Like, it's so important that you embody that this year. So lots of past, I wonder if we're going to get some future stuff, but like past life cards just reminding us both that you're not alone, and also that what you do matters so much. speaking of the past, I want to use this deck that was created by one of our community members out here, Sasha Lopez, who made this deck, in honor of her grandmother, Olga. And it's become one of my faves. Sasha, if you're watching this, thanks, girl. I really love this deck a lot. It's not only beautiful, but it really has gotten to know me and my energy really, really well. If you didn't know, like when you buy a new deck or if somebody gifts you a deck, you have to like let it get to know you before you like start like really using it and trusting it. Like you have to build a relationship with it. And so this deck, gorgeous back of the cards, has really gotten to know me and I really love working with it. So thank you, Sasha, for like creating something that is affecting the lives of others and that like helped you become more embodied. Let's choose a card, third card for January 2026. Okay, we had a card come out, but I feel like there's another one. Okay, I was right. I was right. So the card that flipped over first, and came up upside down, which always means emphasis for me, is the Seeker. The Seeker. Look at the imagery. Pay attention to the imagery. The Seeker. And then we had communication. Communication. I don't usually read the descriptions of these cards, but I'm really, really being pushed to read the description for the Seeker. And I'm not one who's going to say no. I'm going to listen. Okay. You're not going to believe me, but the Seeker is the first card. These sets come in different colors. If you see, there's like blue and green. The Seeker is the first, number 1, 2026, 1 year, is the first card of its blue set. And it says curiosity, beginnings, fluidity, receptivity, ask the right questions. Okay, how can you remain more open? How have you been closed-minded? Are you asking the right questions? Can you reframe what you think you know? What outlets do you have in place for your curious mind? Do you allow yourself to remain in the dark about some things? What do you feel when you explore something for the first time? And it says the beginning of each journey starts with a series of questions. This is such a perfect card. Wow, wow. This is the gift of the Seeker. They remain curious and open, receptive and unrefined. In many ways, we know that trials and tribulations will unfold for the Seeker once the hard questions are asked. They have to be asked nonetheless. What is before you is unknown, mysterious, and maybe a little magical. Once the question is asked, the journey begins. The Seeker does not yet know what they will find and often ends up feeling surprised at what is revealed in unknown territory. Some things are not always as they seem at first glance. Drop your beliefs about duality and allow yourself a fluid perspective of the world. Could this be a more 2026 card? Hello. Really being in this energy and embodying this energy of the Seeker, right? Living in inquiry, as I stated in the beginning of this video, living in a state of inquiry, really being open to not only asking the questions, but really being open to how is life asking you questions? What is life asking of you? And how do you need to shift with it? It's not just like picking a goal and intention in the beginning of the year, whether it be January, February, or March, which is the actual energetic new year. And we'll get to that in March. I have a lot of content about that. Go scroll on my Instagram. But being in this state of inquiry and like not choosing the intentions and the goals and that's it and nothing is going to change. No. Because then what's the point? You're not really in this energy of like beginning again. You're not really in this energy of inquiry. You're working against yourself. You're working against your best interests. And then the communication card coming through to say how we seek. Make sure that you're seeking and how you are in the state of inquiry is shifting and also working with the way that you communicate, both verbally, but also physically, energetically. Again, everything that you do is in communication with life and with the energies that are around you. Everything that you do is political, spiritual, and also a form of communication. What you do, how you act, what you say is a form of communication. It is how you are communicating with the outside world. What you say builds the world. What you do builds the world. I was actually reading a book. Where's my phone? I was reading a book or listening to a book yesterday as I was cooking called, my first book of 2026, is Making the Gods Work for You. And it's this really beautiful book about the planets and cosmic energy and how you can work with them, and brings them down to an ancestral state and explanation. And it's really cool. It's a really good book to listen to. It's by Carolyn Casey. And Carolyn at some point was talking about exactly this, like how our decisions are a form of communication, of embodiment. And I thought I had written down, I like to write down quotes when I listen to Audible books. But the last thing that I wrote down is like, ritual is anything we physically do that we imbue with intention. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, but it is a really great quote, so take that with you. But I do think that these cards are coming hand in hand to remind us that like the energy that we're in reflects in the energy that we give off. And if the energy you give off is not in alignment with what you wanted for yourself this year, you need to question the energy that you're in. You need to start to maybe seek within yourself what you are seeking outside of yourself. Are you seeking too much outside of yourself? Are you seeking within too much? Recalibrating. This is an energy of recalibration, of constantly being able to be malleable. You be like clay. Allow life to form you. Again, life as an art form. What's your art form? Mine is collage. So I'm always willing to like move things around before I paste them down. Maybe your art form is sculpture, right? I'm thinking about this. The artists that are watching this will get me. Please chime in the comments. But like, what's your favorite art form? And how can you relate that to your life? If it is sculpture, allow yourself to be malleable like clay. If it is photography, maybe you need to take a bunch of different pictures, change your exposure, move with different, change your lens, whatever, so that you can get the perspective that you're looking for that really brings you joy, pleasure, ease. Because that is what we are after as a people. All the evil shit that is going on in the world is just people who don't know how to be in power, looking for pleasure and ease. That's it. The people who are suffering in the world are suffering because they don't have pleasure and ease. Everything is built on wanting pleasure and ease and access to pleasure and ease. And so how can you create that for yourself and for others on a daily basis? What do you need to do to work towards that in a safe and sustainable way that doesn't harm you or others in the process? It's so simple, really. It really is that simple. We overcomplicate things to a way that it's just like, what happened to the Garden of Eden? What happened? What happened to everything just being so, it really is, it could all be so simple. It really could. It really could. Anyway, ask yourself throughout the year, have these audits. I have a beautiful meditation here on my YouTube that I forget what the title is. I'll put the title screen, the thumbnail up here, but it basically helps you reassess who is in the driver's seat of your life. Is it your ego or is it your spirit? It's a great way to really get in tune with what are you seeking and how are you communicating because of it. I love it. Let's choose our last card for January 2026, coming from the Infinite Wisdom of the Chakras deck. Gorgeous, gorgeous deck. And see what the last message of guidance is for January 2026. Interesting. Okay, I feel like there's one more card. Ooh, okay. The first card that came out was family healing, trust in the support of your earth soul family. This is nuanced. We're going to get to this. And then upside down, we got the Lion card, courage. Be courageous and see your power in the world. Two different messages that are coming through. Like usually they relate and they go together, but there's one that goes with what we just talked about and one that stands on its own, interestingly enough. This one relates to the last two cards that we got, where what we seek energetically, what we seek, what we physically seek, what we watch, what we listen to, blah, 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 whatever is interacting and being injected into our aura and our energy is how we're going to communicate with the world. And because of that, how we communicate with the world, which is very much a throat chakra embodiment, how we exist authentically in the world card, is going to affect who we engage with as family. This is a year, 2026 is a year where that the notion of family and community is inevitably going to shift for many reasons. One, because 2025 broke apart a lot of what that meant for many of us. And 2026, as we shift from the nodal shift happens from this North Node in Pisces, where we break apart from separateness and that illusion of separateness having been adopted by you because that's what your family inevitably taught you, because it's what they know and it's not their fault, but like family, society, it's like 2026 solidifies this breaking apart from communities that do not serve you and really redefining what does family mean to you. And not in a vindictive, resentful way, but just in a way where like you feel very clear about yourself and who you are, or you're getting to a point where you feel very clear about yourself and who you are. And because of that, there is clarity in your relationships. And so family, when I talk about family, I'm not just talking about physical earth family. I'm talking about friends. I'm talking about communities, clubs. I'm talking about co-workers. I'm talking about, this is going to seem really weird, but also like habits and structures. Anything we are in relation to, whatever's earthly, like living and being with us in this earthly realm, pets, is what we really need to pay attention to. Like that will shift inevitably because of our shift in perspective and the clarity that we get from these things. This is going to shift. Trust in their support. Trust that even when you feel you are in a position of harm, oh, this is going to come out really weird for some of you. I want you to take time with what I'm about to say if it feels uncomfortable. Even when you feel you are in a position of discomfort, I'm not going to say harm, but I'm going to say in a position of discomfort where you are feeling discomfort in a situation or in a relationship with someone or something else, even that is helping you. Even that is helping you grow or assisting or adding a little bit of like something to your journey of expansion. I will say it like that. I'm not telling you to stay in a harmful situation. That's not at all what I'm saying. I am telling you to listen and learn and examine and move. Move from the wisdom that you gain from a particular situation and trust in it. Okay? All of us are your earth family. I'm your earth family. The person on the street that you don't know is your earth family. And I don't mean that in some kumbaya type of way. I truly mean that. I really am saying that from the spirit of this North Node in Pisces. We are not separate. We are all the same. Truly. And I know that causes a lot of issues in the world, and I'm aware of that. This is my channel, and this is what I believe. You can believe what you want, but then this is my rating. Okay? Okay? And then the last card being the Lion card of courage is really crazy because again, this is like this energy of these are nodal cards now. They do kind of go together now that I'm thinking about it. This is like North Node in Pisces going into Aquarius. This is North Node in South Node in Virgo going into Leo, where it is about the courage to be yourself and do what you wanna and gotta and feel like you need to do, and F what anybody else thinks about you. It's like, no, I'm going to do this and I don't feel like explaining myself. That's it. If any of you know the lore of the girl with the 365 buttons on TikTok, that's what I mean. I will not be explaining what that means. You can go ahead and figure that out. Go ahead and Google it, YouTube it, TikTok it. But it is this energy of like starting to examine what 2025 took from you or made you realize how you stand in the way of your own radiance. Definitely a question 2025 asked me from August on, in Leo season on. How did you stand in the way of your own radiance? Or how were you maybe pumping and performing your radiance and not really embodying it? And what kind of decisions do you need to make against all odds, against all suggestion from the outside world, because it works for you, and F what anybody else thinks about it. That is true courage. This is like what the year is about. Courage. Be courageous and see your power in the world. Also reminding us of our power and being able to exist in this, being true power. True power is not being able to stand on a rock and stand and say outrageous things just because you fit in with the world around you. There's a lot of crazy ass shit going on in the world right now. Power, true power, is not being with the crowd and having all this crowd of idiots just standing you up and yeah, go you, because you're agreeable. True power is not being agreeable. Go read a book. The Courage to Be Disliked is a great book. True power is not being agreeable. It's being brave, even if you stand alone. Even if you stand alone. I'm saying a lot of, it sounds very hallmarky to me, but it's the way that it's coming out. True power is not in being agreeable. It's being able to stand alone and knowing that you are doing things that feel right and just. Sirens, more than one siren. Yeah. Confirmation. It's not being agreeable. It's doing things from your internal wisdom because you know you're supported up there, down here. It's staying in inquiry and being malleable. True power is being able to change your mind and change it publicly. Oh my God, how amazing. In the age of canceling people left and right, to be somebody that just goes, my bad. I see what y'all are saying and I'm going to go back and do my research about it. Or like I see how what I said, how I did, what I did, blah, 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 was harmful to a certain community of people. I'm actually going to take that back and work with it. Because I'm not always right. And I'm not here to always be right. And look, the family healing card also coming with and working with these cards. The past life and the break the chain card. Like a lot of us, especially I come from Caribbean culture where like being right is a thing. I don't come from a culture personally. I don't know about you, but I don't come from a culture that rewards inquiry. Like it's like what we know is what we do and that's it. This is why breaking the chain and ancestral healing and generational healing has been such a thing in my generation. And why it's such a big deal? Because we don't come from cultures that reward inquiry or questioning or doing things differently. I don't think as a people, as a human people, we come from a collective culture beyond Caribbean, beyond all that. I don't think that as a people, as a collective, we reward that. And that's why you gotta be brave with it and do it anyway. What a fantastical, I'm going to see Wicked today on Broadway. So that's where that word came from. But what a fantastical reading to start the year. Thank you for giving me the honor and pleasure to keep doing this. More sirens. The sirens are still going. We're going to close out the video like this. Thank you for giving me the honor and pleasure to continue to do all of these things in public with you. I am shifting. I'm growing. I have been doing this and talking about energy and change and rebirth in so many different ways since 2013, since I started my first little blog on the internet. And you watching this, your comments, your shares, your whatever, any way that you engage with these videos, the things that I create and that I share online means the world to me and allows me to receive opportunities that helps keep this going. I'm not going to lie to you. In 2025, I thought I was going to have to get a full-time job and stop doing this altogether. And so again, your support means the world. It is a form of clarity for me. Y'all are definitely a part of all of these things for me, a way that I can personally show up bravely. You are my family. You are like reminding me of my past life wisdom. So many sirens are passing. I can feel spirit just like, yeah. But I'm going to stop here. I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Please let me know in the comments if there's anything that resonated with you. How are you stepping into 2026? Even if the last year rocked you like it rocked me, how are you stepping into this new year? If you enjoyed something, if you learned something from this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with somebody that you love, leave me a comment, and I'll see you in the next video. See you in February 2026.